Feet of Loon. I'm Chris.
And I'm Wesley.
My prime cut loon.
I like that.
You are a prime cut of meat.
A lot of meat.
I tell you what, and it is primo. So anyway, I know it's so we're so excited. We are extra excited. It is the special time of the. It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Yep.
It's 2020, so that means. It's just us, and it's probably just you and your close-knit family.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean we still can't celebrate, and we should.
And we're going to celebrate, and we're going to have a lot of leftovers.
That's right. That's right. And there's these. What we're making makes incredible leftovers. We talked about it enough. We're making our standing prime rib roast. If there was ever a showstopper of a centerpiece dish to serve at a special time like the holidays, this is it. It would
be that.
I mean, it is a star-studded roast.
The only thing I can compare it to is the crown roast as well.
That's spectacular too.
Yes.
This is one of those. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and say it. This is when you're going to have to kind of open up the wallet because it's not a cheap piece of meat.
But it's the holidays.
It's the holidays. Like we said, it's a special occasion, and it is mind-blowingly good. Now,
it's amazing.
You know, a lot of people are sort of intimidated because it is a showstopper and it's expensive. Like, what if I screw it up and I wasted all of that time and that money and all? This is really, really easy to make. I know we say that
it's very difficult to screw it up.
It really is. It really, really is. If you follow just a few very basic.
It says the Loon.
If the Loon says it, then you should feel pretty safe. Okay. So let's just do a little bit of quick talking about what this wonderful meat is. So there's a little bit of confusion because it's called a prime rib. Now, in the United States, there are basically two types of meat that you can get. You can get either choice meat or you can get prime meat, and that's for all cuts of meat. And prime is just it's better. It's
I'm a prime piece of
He's
meat.
a prime cut. Right. It's the cream of the crop for cows.
I love it.
So, but this is called a prime rib. So you can get a prime rib, or you can get a choice prime rib. This week, it's special occasion, so why not go all the way and do prime?
Prime.
So okay. So
the standing. What's the difference?
Okay, so you can get standing, and you can get which is called there's standing, and there's just a rib roast. Yeah. So standing means you see these bones right here. This comes from the rib section of the cow, and so I always say that the bones sort of impart more flavor, and I do believe that's true. But the key thing here, so when we're done roasting this, we're going to do it low and slow. We're doing a reverse sear, which we'll talk about in just a moment. But then what we're going to do is we're going to cut away, just the bones are right here, and you'll see it later when we do this. And then it's just going to leave this piece of meat right here, which is the roast. And you've seen this like at steakhouses when they bring out,
like a carving station. A
carving station, yes, at like a really nice wedding or something like that. So and prime rib is always it's usually served medium rare. If you really want to go medium, you can, but it's so flavorful. This cut of meat has so much flavor, it really doesn't need much enhancement. But you can ask your butcher to get it without the bones, and that's no problem.
So it's just a prime rib roast.
Yeah, it's a prime rib roast.
Standing prime rib roast.
And like, did I say that these ribs sort of act as an insulator, and it's all part?
No, you didn't, but now you are.
Oh, well, I'm saying it. So what that does is it just helps retain the moisture inside, so it stays nice and juicy. So, okay, I think I've covered all of that. So now let's talk about
what's the reverse sear.
I'm going to get to that. Let's prep the baby first. Okay,
got it.
So what we want to do is, you don't have to do this, but we like to liberally salt it and pepper it the night before. So get it all nice and salted up, and then you just put it on like your roasting pan that you've got here, and you're going to put it in the refrigerator. You don't need to cover it or anything like that. And what that salt does is it starts to pull out that moisture, and it's kind of like the brining process. It seems counterintuitive, but it's really a dry brine. It's a dry brine. Yeah. Dry brine. And so it just all of that helps make it even more juicy. Okay. And then another important step is before you're going to stick it in the oven, you want to let it sit out for a couple hours just to kind of come to room temperature. And again, this is all part of that process of getting a really juicy, tender roast.
Now, can you just leave it salt and peppered and do nothing else?
You absolutely could, because that's what I said. This cut of meat is so flavorful by itself. It really it doesn't need it, but
But hey,
you know us. We have to do a little bit so we do a butter compound.
Oh, a butter compound.
Herb butter compound. Of course, why not? So all that is I just get a 1/4 cup of unsalted, softened butter, and then I add a teaspoon of my favorite herbs, which are fresh chopped rosemary and some thyme, and then I get some garlic. And if you have a garlic press, just smash that in there. A couple of cloves will work, or you can finally mince it and put it in there.
You just mix it all up.
Get a fork, mix it all up in there, and then what I did, and then I'm going to finish this off right here, and you just coat it.
That butter just seeps into that roast.
It does. It seeps in, and and what it does is now we're going to talk about that reverse sear. Whenever you do when you sear it off, that butter just helps. You want a nice, almost crispy, crunchy outside, which is going to make the inside just
dying.
I'm already salivating. Okay, so now let's talk about what's called the reverse sear. A lot of cooks, when they make this, they just get an oven at a nice 325 degrees, maybe 350, and then just let it go in and cook until you get an internal temperature of, say, 125 for medium rare, 130 for medium. It's going to, after you take it out of the oven, you're going to tent it, and it will continue to cook for probably another 5 degrees for either medium or medium rare. What that does,
125, right?
125, and then when you take it out, it'll go up another 5 degrees to 130, and then 130 to 135 for medium.
Got it.
Now, so what that does is it cooks it, but because this is a large piece of meat, it cooks the it overcooks the outside a little bit, and then the middle, it cooks it okay. No, I'm sorry, not the middle. Then sort of the midsection, or you got the outside, then you got this section, which is sort of properly cooked, and then the inside a lot of times is undercooked. It's rare. So what the reverse does is you start it off really low and slow. So a lot of ovens, they have a hard time maintaining any kind of a temperature under, say, 200, 225, or 250. 250 is a good temperature. It's nice and low, and it's just going to cook it real slow and steady.
Now this one will go probably about 4 hours.
It really does. Now people, this is where for a roast like this, it's more important to keep an eye on the temperature. That's why it's super important. I'm going to tell you, if you're going to do this, if you're going to spend the money on this roast, then go ahead, and if you haven't already got one of these are not expensive. I have a link in the blog post to a thermometer, an instant read thermometer.
This one you just plug into the meat and leave it outside of the stove.
And it's got the nice long, so you can leave that outside of the oven, and you don't have to keep opening your oven.
Or this one where you'll just stick in to check it every once in a while.
Stick it in the deepest part of the meat, and as soon as it reaches 125, then it's ready to come out. Okay, then we're going to let it rest, and then we're going to crank up that heat to as hot as it'll go. My oven will go to 550, which a lot of ovens nowadays will, and then you just stick it, and then that's when you get the sear, and it sears it in like 6 minutes, so you've got this beautiful exterior, and then the inside is just cooked perfectly. And I've talked so much that it's probably oh my God.
It's cooked already from your hot air.
I know, I'm hot air. Talk about slow cooking. But anyway, you'll see what I'm talking about. Okay, have I covered everything? I'm going to put a little, I've just got a little beef stock. So what we're going to do is this is so good by itself. Again, you don't have to serve it with anything, but again, it's Chris.
It's us.
Chris and Wesley. So we're not only going to give you one sauce, we're going to give you 2 sauces.
Yes,
so,
2 sauces.
2 sauces. An au jus is it's like with juice, basically, is what that means. And so that's it's just a sauce that comes from the roast itself. So this stock that I put in here, which is like a cup, it just kind of helps facilitate. It continues to make liquid as we get the drippings from here.
Yes.
We'll show you how we're going to make that in a moment. So let's go ahead and put
this thing in
the oven.
Here, let me do that, and you stick in the
thermometer. Okay.
Okay.
It's always an adventure. Okay, so now I'm going to stick that in as far as it'll go.
All right.
And then we just wait. Okay, so another really common sauce that is served with this, and I don't know who came up with this, but they're brilliant, is creamy horseradish sauce. It's just so good.
This is amazing. And I'm not like a big horseradish fan.
I'm not either. I know, but there's something about the way it's prepared is also really, really good. So this is one of those things, the longer it sits in the fridge, the better. I mean, to an extent.
Yeah.
But you can make this up to 2 days in advance, and I even recommend that you do it. So let's tell them how we did this. We got a medium-sized bowl.
You're still
I'm getting hoarse, I know.
I can help. So you've got a medium-sized bowl.
Yes.
And in that bowl, you're going to put in how much cream? a half a cup of cream.
Half a cup of heavy cream.
And then you're gonna do some creme fraiche,
Creme fraiche, a half a cup.
Half a cup of creme fraiche. Then you're gonna put in some horseradish, right? Some real horseradish.
3 tablespoons of prepared horseradish.
And then some Dijon mustard.
A teaspoon of Dijon mustard.
And then you're gonna do some
2 teaspoons of
champagne vinegar?
White wine vinegar.
White wine vinegar.
And then
some dill.
1 tablespoon of fresh
dill.
And then a 1/4 cup of
rosemary.
Fresh parsley.
Oh. I almost got it, folks.
And a half a teaspoon of salt and a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. You're going to mix all of that up together, and
then you're going to put it in the fridge.
And then you need to let it cool. So we just put it into a container like this, and then when you're ready to serve, it's
this
so
is
good.
going back in the fridge.
Yes, put that back in the fridge because now we've got a little time. Now it's time to go fix some glue vine or something like that, and wait for that roast to be ready. And the other, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you this. So. You're not having guests over, right, this year? But if you were, this is really great for when you are having guests because when it comes out, it's kind of like a turkey. It's okay if it sits. It really should sit for a minimum of 30 minutes, but it can even sit up to an hour and a half, which gives you time to sort of adjust everything else that you're doing. And then right when you're ready to serve it is when you're going to
do that
stick it in
6-minute high
6 to 8 minute sear, and then you're going to slice it and it's ready to eat. So it makes serving guests really, really easy.
Wonderful.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Okay. Oh my gosh, we're getting so close. I'm so excited. Okay. Okay. So here we hold on.
Sorry.
We jumping the gun. So we're looking right here. We've reached 126 degrees.
Yes.
Sometimes we notice sometimes it goes in like 2 degree intervals. So you want it in the range of 125. So that's perfect.
Yay.
So the Loon is gloved up, and we're ready to take this out.
I've been ready.
Well, you've got to practice on your twirls. Okay. Now take that. Go ahead and take the. Okay. Well, I thought you were going to take that out.
Oh, I can take it out up here. Okay.
Look at that, folks. I mean,
amazing.
Is that not a beautiful, beautiful piece of work? But we're not done yet. We're just getting started. I mean, that is gorgeous.
Come on.
Okay.
Wow.
So let me.
Okay, you take these.
Yep. Now this is where it takes a little ingenuity. So now we're gonna make. So now we need to let this rest. Like I said, this is your flexible time. This needs to rest for at least 30 minutes, but it can rest for even up to an hour and a half. So you have some flexibility of when you're gonna want to serve this. So while this is resting, we're gonna make this Azure sauce.
Yes.
So let me go ahead and tell you real quick what
what's in there already.
That's what I'm getting ready to tell you. So we've got.
I've got my pitchforks.
You do. So be careful. So if a medium saucepan like this, I love using my gloves. We're going to add a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, and then a 1/4 cup of red wine. And you're just going to bring that to a simmer. You just kind of want it to reduce down in like 5 minutes at a strong simmer.
Perfect.
Okay. And then what we're going to do. So now this is what takes a little ingenuity.
Yes.
We're going
calm
to
down.
We want to really amp up the flavors of this. So we're going to take remember when I added that beef stock? I'm grabbing it. Added that beef stock. We're going to we're just going to pour the juices that are poured in from here, and that's just going to be so delicious.
Lord, that's going to make that taste delicious.
Yes, it really, really is. And then we'll use our little fat separator later, or you can just tilt the pan to get rid of the excess grease.
And I'm coming back on. There you go.
See, it helps to have a Loon in the kitchen. It really does. Okay, so now that's great. So,
and I'm going to tint this.
Tinter, baby. So I'm going to turn my heat on here pretty high, and what I've got here is some more beef broth.
I hate to cover this up.
I know it's beautiful, but it's going to get even better. We've got a cup and a half of just good quality beef broth here, or beef stock, whatever you've got on hand, and we're going to just let that simmer. And it's going to go for about 10 to 15 minutes until it reduces down. It's not going to get the consistency of like a gravy. An au jus, which you probably know if you've ever had a French dip sandwich, it's still very thin, but it's extremely flavorful. And then we're going to come back and we're going to do our reverse sear. We're going to sear it.
Right. So that we're going to let that come to
it. It can come. It's good. This is going to cook, and then it can sit.
We're going to let this sit for half an hour.
We're going to let this go for half an hour.
We're going to crank that up to 550 and let it go in there for 6 to 8 minutes,
and just till it gets crispy and beautiful on the outside, and then it's time to
eat it.
It's time to serve it. Yay! The time has come.
You will not believe how wonderful this house smells.
I know. Your house is going to smell the same.
Holy
This is...
Holy chunk of meat.
Ladies and gentlemen, we bring you...
Standing prime rib roast. Wow.
Oh my God, isn't that absolutely gorgeous? So now I mean, like what is really impressive is if you stand it up. That's why it's called the standing rib roast, with the rib still intact, and you put it on a platter and you allow your guests to walk in and just be in awe of what you have done before you cut away.
Got it?
Yes, the ribs. Right. You got it?
Yep, I'm just taking this away.
And then when everyone's sitting at the desk, you do what
at the desk.
At the table. I'm sitting at my desk and I'm eating my meat. Okay, but we're going to forego that. So now, is that not absolutely beautiful?
That is gorgeous.
So now, like what I said, now what we're going to do is we're going to cut away these bones, and then we're going to be left with the prime rib roast.
Actually, our butcher cuts it away for us.
Yes. So I was getting into that. So our butcher, who is fabulous, you can ask your butcher to do this. He goes ahead and cuts the bones away for us, and then he ties it up with a string and gets it all nice.
The worst scissors.
And so what that does is it just really, really insulates it. Okay.
There we go.
So we've got one down.
One down.
Okay.
Can you hold it up? Use this.
Here,
Use
let
your
me.
tongs.
Here, let me have a stab at it. This
Careful,
always
it's
takes a little maneuvering. Yeah, these are not the greatest strings. Okay. I mean, these are not the greatest scissors.
Got it?
Yeah. One more here, folks. Okay.
Got it?
Okay. Now you're going to see what's going to happen. Let's turn it this way so we can see the miracle of TV. Okay.
There's the standing rib roast right there.
There we go. Now this is going to
gorgeous.
just, let me just hold this right here. And like I said, this is going to just, is the string, there must be a string still holding it, Wesley.
No, we got them all, I think. Here we go. There we go.
Okay, there we go. Now let's try that again. Now, there you go. See? Every time we always have this dilemma. And you just got to see us play with meat.
Oh, at least our hands are clean.
Okay, so now, so now you see that right there. These ribs right here are so loaded with flavor. So what you can do is you can just, I'm not going to do it now, but you can cut those, stick them back into the under the broiler, under the oven, in a hot oven, and it crisps up, and it's absolutely beautiful.
So good.
I'm going to put this out of the way.
Put those right there on that rack still.
Okay. All right, that was fun to watch, wasn't it?
Sorry, guys.
Okay, nothing to be sorry about. Okay, so now what we're going to do, this is the time of moment.
So people have a really good view.
Okay, so what we're going to do, this end piece is loaded with flavor. I love it. Get a nice sharp knife. This is so tender. And then just start cutting into that baby.
Oh, my stars. My stars and garters.
Perfect.
I can't see it. Yes.
Perfectly cooked. Okay, so now what we're gonna do, I'll just have that slice for myself, that big old slice. Now I'm gonna cut you a nice big old piece. It's this is like medium rare, but not too medium rare. It's got some lovely fat in it, which is just so incredibly loaded with flavor. Oh my gosh. All right.
All right, are you done cutting?
So now what we're gonna do, let me just quickly tell you, I've got this big old chunk of meat right here. Am I complaining?
Yeah.
So now let me tell you about how we got our au jus together real quick. So these heating pads. Okay, so this is our au jus that we've got, and
oh, it's so great. All right, let's talk about this au jus.
Au jus. So anyway, now that we're 45 minutes into this video, we have, as we said, we let this simmer down. It went about 15 minutes, and it does reduce a little bit. It gets a little thicker, and then you can just let it rest, or you can just, if it's not too hot, then what I do is I use our fat separator, and that's just this cool little device. You've probably seen it before, where you just pour that in, and the fat rises, and then you use that
awesome.
in a
love
separator.
it so much.
If you don't have one of those, no big deal. You can just tip your pan to the right and just spoon some of that grease out of the top, and then pour it into your vessel, and then you're ready to eat. Okay. Well, that was certainly fun. Okay. Let's go.
All right, I'm going to pour some of this lovely au jus sauce on it.
Wow, you're not.
I'm sorry.
Going
I
skimpy
love
on
this.
the au jus.
I love the au jus.
Now remember, and we said we've got our horseradish.
Yes.
It's creamy horseradish
I like
sauce.
to just put a little bit on the side of my
Yes,
plate.
I know.
So that I can use it whenever I want it. Okay.
Okay.
Some for you.
Yep.
You're rushing me along.
Well, by the time this is done, it's going to be next Christmas.
Oh, Chris, just relax.
Oh no! Wait. Remember, now
yes.
I highly recommend doing a nice liberal sprinkling of some coarse sea salt. That's really the finishing touch. Okay. Oh my gosh! Look at that. It's perfectly cooked. See how the redness is really all the way through? That's what you want. Had you done it the other way, it'd be like really brown and not that well.
A little bit of
perfectly
this
cooked.
On here. I've been waiting a long time for this bite.
It's the mother of all roasts, right? Come to me, Wesley. Speak to me.
Holy, holy, holy.
Holy,
wow.
holy, holy.
That is probably the best piece of meat I've had.
Wow.
Let's say in a very long time.
I mean,
that I can remember.
Probably
wow.
ever. I know. I mean, it really is.
It's so juicy and it's so wonderful. That flavor is just. I can't even. Yeah, it's and that horseradish sauce is perfect.
It's the perfect match to it.
And that.
Oh, you.
Okay, let's get this out. This is 1,000% Loon approved.
Yes, I was going to say, if this doesn't get an extra credit.
Well, I almost took off some points because you took so long getting that string
well,
off.
if you would have helped me a little better. Like I said, it's always a little
you took over.
risky doing the strings at the table, so just be careful of that. All right, I'm so excited. I mean, there's good, there's great, and then there's that.
It's amazing. It is. I say amazing like all the time, but
it's amazingly amazing.
This has got like an A-H-H-H-H-H-H.
So there's a reason that you pay a little extra $1 for this, and there's a reason that you only do it maybe once a year.
Y'all,
but man,
it's worth it. It's worth it. Now you can get this recipe on howtofeedaloon.com.
And if you don't mind, I'm going to keep eating while I
tell you. Yes, me too.
So go to our social media, like us, share us. We wish each and every one of you the happiest of holidays.
Yes.
And above all, please, 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 from us to you, be safe. Just, we are about to get through this wretched year of 2020. If you're watching it in 2020.
I can see a light at the end of the tunnel.
I can see it, and it's got a prime rib at the end of it. Prime rib right now. So we love you.
Yay, happy holidays, everyone.
Holidays.
Be safe.
Oh. Hey, everybody.
Hi, guys. Now, if you want to be a part of the Loon fun, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. And don't forget to hit that little bell icon so you won't miss a single recipe.
That's right. Oh, and speaking of recipes, if you want another amazing recipe like this, then just click right here.
Yeah, click.
Click.
Subscribe.
It's so much fun.